and welcome to another edition of Kogi in Focus, a 7-day review of happenings and developments in and around Kogi, Nigeria's Confluent State. I'm Khadijat Mohammed. On the program today, Kogi State begins implementation of Stamp Duty Act. Kogi State government to strengthen partnership with drug law enforcement authorities to rid the state of traffickers. And court declares former Deputy Governor Simon ACHUBA's impeachment illegal. This and more when we return. Don't go away.
It's Kogi, Nigeria's confluent state, the country's melting point where anything and everything can happen. Kogi in Focus is the program keeping Nigerians abreast of developments in and around the country's most strategically located state. From politics, government to the people, farming to entertainment, sport and a whole lot more. We've got it covered on Kogi in Focus. Watch Kogi in Focus every Monday at 4:30 p.m. on your channel of choice, Africa Independent Television, AIT. For your contributions, feedback and advert placements, please contact us through the displayed phone numbers and social media handles. Kogi in Focus, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. Don't be left out.
Welcome back. The Kogi State government says all is set for the full implementation of the Stamp Duty Act. This was contained in a press statement released by the Commissioner for Information and Communication Strategy, Kingsley Fanwo. The state government says it also plans to embark on a massive sensitization exercise on the provisions and workings of the Act. The collection of stamp duty, according to the statement, will serve as a reliable source of revenue for the state government in the face of dwindling receipts from the Federation account. Fanwo said some of the stamp duty items include the flat rate charges on ordinary receipts, tenancy agreements, certificates of occupancy, affidavit affirmations, statutory declarations, and a host of others. Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communication has refuted reports from an online publication saying he announced that local government council's election would hold in the state next month. In another statement released from his office, the commissioner said the news published by an online publication, Opera News, is not only false but outrightly fake. The statement further pointed out that it is not the duty of the executive arm of government to organize or prepare for election. The Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Fanwo, has also affirmed the commitment of the state government to reposition all state-owned radio stations for effective information dissemination and citizens' engagement. Fanwo said this at Ochaja while on a facility inspection at Confluence Radio Booster Station 90.5 FM. He commended the staff of the station for what he described as their commitment and unparalleled dedication to duty. Fanwo said the government is determined to build on what is on ground, and the ministry will look into how to improve on their working conditions. The Kogi State government has called on residents in the state capital Lokoja and other major towns in the state to report any water reticulation challenges. They are to forward same to the authorities and other agencies under the Water Resources Ministry. The Commissioner for Water Resources, Abdulmumin Danga, who made the call at a news briefing in Lokoja, said the state government has embarked on an assessment of federal and state government dams with a view to ensuring clean and potable water is supplied to as many homes and businesses as possible.
As Nigeria's dry season continues, potable water is increasingly becoming a scarce commodity. Kogi State is not left out in this, and Commissioner for Water Resources Abdulmumin Danga says the state government is working to change the situation, especially in the state's major towns.
If you are looking at Lokoja, the work done in Lokoja is almost 95%. Because the reason I said so, there's some places to take from international market down to Felele. So we will do something about it soon. Osara Dam is a federal government property. So, and very soon Osara Dam will start to work. Already His Excellency has given approval and it's ready. We have a private investors. They are ready to take Osara Dam and to cover almost like 5 local governments.
The commissioner said the improved water supply will come at some cost to consumers.
Some pure water factory using our water illegally. So we've taken it up, we caught some of the water and we invited all those people to the office for a proper documentation. You don't expect the state government paying a huge amount of money, buying chemical, island to treat the water, and at the end of the day we are not getting anything from it. Without getting a maximum support from the people, there is no how we can achieve the best we want.
Residents say they have no problem paying as long as they see what they are paying for.
No problem if we are seeing water every day. At least that will make people have some joy. It will make them have confidence to pay any tax.
It's very good now. If it will be okay for us, we are satisfied.
On that, it's good.
Down to that Barracks and Shetima, we need water over there. So about the tariff, if it is affordable, we are there for our government, to help the government, then the government also help us.
The commissioner says, even though it's early days, there is a lot to do in the area of urban and rural water supply, and for him, the sooner he gets started, the better.
Wife of the Kogi State Governor Rashida Bello has commended the Naval Officers' Wife Association for its contributions toward improving the health of officers' wives and other women and children in their communities, through health outreach programs that have improved the living conditions of people within and outside the barracks. The Kogi State First Lady gave the commendation at the Nigeria's naval base, Banda Lokoja, during the inauguration of NOAA Kogi State chapter, where the officers' wives distributed drugs, they warmed school children, tested and distributed eyeglasses, and also provided notebooks for school children. Rashida Bello said that her office, through her foundation, is open to collaboration in women and youth empowerment programs. The president of Naval Officers' Wife Association, Teresa Ebers, thanked the governor's wife for her support and for further synergy of efforts to improve the lives of vulnerable persons. If you are just joining us, this is Kogi in Focus, the program that beams the searchlight on major developments in and around Kogi State. For your information, contribution and advert placements or event coverage inquiries, please get in touch via our telephone and social media contacts displayed on your screen. To watch previous editions of the program, visit our YouTube channel, Kogi in Focus TV. You are still watching Kogi in Focus. A Kogi State High Court sitting in Lokoja has nullified the October 2019 impeachment of the then State Deputy Governor, Simon ACHUBA, by the State House of Assembly. Justice Olorunfemi, who gave the judgment, also ruled that ACHUBA be paid his full benefits from the date of the impeachment till January 27, 2020, which marked the end of the tenure of Governor Yahya Bello's first administration, in which ACHUBA was the number 2 man.
The judge described the impeachment of Simon ACHUBA as unconstitutional and illegal, following the findings of a 7-man investigative panel set up by State Chief Judge Nasiru Ajana. Justice Olorunfemi also exonerated the Chief Judge of wrongdoing in subsequently swearing in Edward Onojas as Deputy Governor. He said the Chief Judge was simply performing his constitutional duty since there was no court injunction stopping Onojas swearing in as Deputy. He also declared that all Simon ACHUBAs for all records will be recognized as the former Kogi State Deputy Governor till end of the immediate past administration, whose tenure lapsed on January 27, 2020, with Governor Yahya Bello swearing in for a second term of office. The counsel to the defendants, the State House of Assembly, said his team will study the judgment and take necessary steps.
We have listened to the judgment, and We will wait, we'll get a copy, we'll study it and advise our client accordingly.
The substantive suit itself, all the reliefs sought by the claimant were granted. However, we need to emphasize that that part that sought to demonize the CJ's action and describe it as unconstitutional was struck out and expunged, as we requested, because the CJ, there was nothing in the whole claim to portray him as having abused his office.
Counsel to the claimant expressed delight with the judgment.
The judgment to us is a victory to democracy and for the spirit of the constitution of our land, which is the ground norm. And we want to thank our Lordship for this well-seasoned judgment. It is nothing but the best I've ever seen in recent time in my legal practice. My boss will always tell me during Esedo Kutekwa is that an old woman is not threatened by a manhood. So if they are ready to go on appeal, we'll meet them there.
The state government's lawyer, however, refused to talk to newsmen. The Kogi State House of Assembly on October 18 impeached Simon ACHUBA as deputy governor following allegations of gross misconduct and misappropriation of funds. ACHUBA, who had always claimed innocence of the allegations, proceeded to the court to seek redress, which has finally paved the way for this judgment.
In a similar development, the Kogi State High Court, sitting in Lokoja, ruled that the People's Democratic Party had no valid candidate in the November 2019 governorship election in the state. Justice John Olorufemi, in his ruling, declared that the primary conducted on the 3rd of September 2019 by the PDP, which produced Musa Wada as the flag bearer, was fraught with irregularities. The court held that issues such as the hour-long downpour and sporadic gunshots, which led to delegates scampering for safety, cannot be said to be the right condition to produce a candidate. According to Justice Olorufemi, neither the claimant, Abubakar Idris, nor the defendant, Musa Wada, can lay claim to being the authentic flag bearer of the PDP, since the primary was inconclusive. He pointed out that the claimant, who averred that he would have won the primary conducted by the first defendant if the missing votes which he claimed belonged to him were added to his votes, could not convince the court to deliver judgment in his favor. Justice Olorufemi further submitted that the second defendant also failed to convince the court that he actually won the party primary, held amid rancor, acrimony and pandemonium due to sporadic gunshots that compelled the delegates to scamper for safety. The ruling was in a pre-election matter filed by Abubakar Idris, who is the eldest son of former Kogi State Governor Ibrahim Idris, challenging the candidature of Musa Wada's claim as the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in November 16, 2019 governorship election. Abubakar Ibrahim, the claimant to the Kogi People's Democratic Party (PDP) governorship ticket, which a Lokoja High Court declared inconclusive, has thanked his supporters and indicated readiness to appeal the judgment. Abubakar, a leading aspirant in the September 3, 2019 primary election, reacted to the judgment in a statement where he said he is completely dissatisfied with the said judgment and he has instructed his lawyers to carefully study the judgment, both in content and in context, and advise him on the next line of action. He urged his supporters and party faithful to remain calm and focused on ensuring that justice is done in the matter. The State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Gabriel Yunusa Olofu, has affirmed that adequate support for small and medium enterprise was the quickest way to alleviate poverty, saying that SMEs development remains a serious focus of Governor Yahya Bello's administration. Olofu made it known during an interview with journalists in Lokoja. He said that the New Directions agenda is poised to do more in massive empowerment of youth by ensuring that small businesses in the state were given the needed support to thrive. The commissioner noted that on assumption of office, he discovered the existence of an already signed law for the establishment of the Kogi State Enterprise Development Agencies, which would facilitate an enabling environment for small enterprises to progress. He expressed that the governor has charged them towards selfless and dedicated service to the state and the people, and such charge will drive his actions in the office he occupies. The commissioner said his office, following the guidance of the New Direction Blueprint, would ensure that the youths were further engaged in profitable commercial ventures, thereby reducing youth restiveness to its barest. He affirmed that efforts were already being made to secure international and national support and collaborations to source loans, grants and needed capitals that could boost already established small businesses.
Hello everyone, they call me Juma B, a songwriter, a musician and an entrepreneur. And I am what I am today because I didn't give myself to drug abuse. You too, you're watching me right now, can actually be great if you don't get used to drug addiction. Say no to drugs completely. It kills, it destroys, and it ruins. On this note, I am in full support of the Kogi State Ministry of Information and the NDLEA against drug usage and abuse. If we hear anything, we can speak for pidgin. We go blow your whistle. You hear me now?
Kogi State government has promised to go into a drug whistleblowers partnership with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to stem the tide of drug abuse in the state. The Commissioner of Information and Communication, Kingsley Fanwo, made this public after a courtesy visit to the State Directorate of NDLEA in the state. Fanwo, who directed some officers in the ministry to commence the partnership process, said the policy will be officially launched by the Kogi State Governor, Yahya Bello. He said his ministry will fight the scourge of drug abuse using cost-effective measures. He said his ministry is not only concerned with generating revenue, but also about ensuring that government does not have to spend too much in fighting insecurity. He said he was desirous of a sustainable partnership with NDLEA in the campaign against the use of hard drugs, which was taking its toll, especially among youths.
Hello everyone, they call me Juma B, a songwriter, a musician and an entrepreneur. And I am what I am today because I didn't give myself to drug abuse. You too, you're watching me right now, can actually be great if you don't get used to drug addiction. Say no to drugs completely. It kills, it destroys, and it ruins. On this note, I am in full support of the Kogi State Ministry of Information and the NDLEA against drug usage and abuse. If we hear anything, we can speak for pidgin. We go blow your whistle. You hear me now?
In a related development, the Kogi State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency appears on top of its game in the war against illicit drugs, as 2 suspects were nabbed and hundreds of kilograms of narcotic substances were seized and displayed to newsmen in Lokoja, the state capital. The illicit drugs were seized on transit from Epoma, Edo State to Maiduguri. The state commandant of the NDLEA, Alfred Bayode Adeomi, attributed the success to the whistleblower policy adopted by the state government. He commended the officers of the agency for their commitment and dedication to the fight against drug trafficking, especially in the area of intelligence gathering.
I also want to quickly add that I resumed duty here sometimes in December. And between 2 weeks of my taking over, I have been able to intercept nearly 2,000 kilograms of assorted drugs. And we are not relenting. And this is another new interception. So we are working hard. We can make it, we can do it. NDLEA has the capacity to be able to remove drugs. All we need is the support of government, the support of well-meaning citizens of this country.
The commandant revealed that the state is not just a transit zone, but is fast becoming a haven of illicit drug usage. He urged Nigerians to collaborate with the agency to ensure a drug-free society. Well, this is where we will wrap it up on today's edition of Kogi in Focus. Keep it there with us next week, same time, same station, for another package. I'm your host, Khadijat Mohammed. again asking you to keep doing to others what you want them to do to you. Enjoy the rest of the week.